Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's a pleasure to be able to talk about Wallby to you live right now today. Um, First of all, I'm sorry because you cannot see me for some reason. I didn't manage to make my webcam work. It was working right after right up to the point to joining, and then it stops working as soon as I enter the call. So just gonna have to see a still image of me, and also sorry for my voice, and I'm gonna be coughing a little bit. I got a little bit of a cold in August, but I guess that's what you get for abusing air conditioning. So um, as I said, we're gonna talk about Wallby today. Wallby is our Bitcoin based wallet and super app we launched a few weeks ago, early July, with Bicademy. And it's basically at the moment it's basically a decentralized wallet that lets users manage their bitcoins and tokens on the Bitcoin main chain, on Liquid network, and on the Rootstock network. And so at the moment is just a wallet, if you want to say so. The idea of a super app, it's going to come slowly as we roll up future updates. And the idea is for it to become a hub where users can independently manage their coins and their tokens, and also decide if they want to access to certain applications, certain services, and certain platforms with their digital identity. And they're going to have some kind of degree of decentralization, and users are going to have the opportunity to manage the kind of exposure they want to have. So we could have the traditional Bitcoin maximalist users who just wants to use a decentralized wallet, and then we might have the more generic users who also wants to be able to buy Bitcoin using cash or using fiat currency, and so it might also access to centralized application like a fiat gateway, which is also going to include some kind of level of AML and KYC. And the idea is to give the options and the power, put them back in the hands of the users, and make it easy and accessible to start using Bitcoin and its galaxy of layer 2 scaling solutions and sidechains solutions. We're gonna start the presentation. It's gonna be very high level. I'm mostly in charge of product development and business development in Wallby. So unfortunately, I'm not a developer. If I could go back in time, I would be a developer, but I guess there's still time eventually to learn coding and programming. But we also have a few colleagues here live, and especially Antonio Parella, which is our CTO. So he's also going to be available later if there's any more specific and more technical questions. So we're going to be able to ask questions after we're done with the presentation, and I think Chase is gonna handle the moderation. So there's also going to be the opportunity. So again, my name is Alessandro Olivo. I'm in charge of business development and product development for Wallby. I've been a Bitcoiner since 2013. I discovered Bitcoin right after finishing high school, and it was love at first sight. And I decided that I liked Bitcoin. It gave an answer to all the questions I had about life, society, economics, and work. And so since then, I've been in love with Bitcoin. I've been studying and working on Bitcoin 24/7. I had the chance and had the opportunity to make my work and my interest concrete as an entrepreneur and evangelist. So I'm one of the many partners and co-founders and operatives in the main Bitcoin business ecosystem in Italy, with maybe you know already under the collective name of Bitcoin Valley, because it started in Trentino Alto Adige, in Rovereto, where I still live, which is a small town in the northeast of Italy. And it's one of the areas in the world with the highest density of Bitcoin accepting shops and businesses. And we started with the very first company back in 2016 officially, but we were working even earlier, which is in Bitcoin. And we started giving merchant and wallet applications to shops. And from there, again, we created a big business ecosystem, including Compro Euro, which is a brick and mortar Bitcoin shop, and Bicademy, which is the creator, as we're going to see, of Wallby, which is mostly focused on consultancy, education, and custom software solutions. So this is the entrepreneurial side. On the evangelist side, I'm also one of the co-founders of the Blockchain Education Network Italy, which is the Italian division of the biggest Bitcoin and blockchain dissemination association in the world. I also served as secretary a few years ago, and that gave me the chance to take part to countless conferences, lectures, and stuff like that, which is what I really, really like. And also I'm co-host of the Bcaucus podcast, which is produced by Satoshi Design, which is also another company from the group that is more focused on event organization and content creation. It's a podcast in Italian, so it's not going to be too accessible if you don't speak Italian, but if you speak Italian, check us out, Bcaucus, on YouTube and on all the major podcast platforms. And since we started cooperating with Blockstream and the Liquid Network for this year's term, I'm also serving as member for the membership board on the Liquid Federation. So that's also very, very stimulating for me. And what is Wallby? Because I guess this is what you all came here for. So as I said, Wallby is an all-in-one wallet and super application for Bitcoin. And as I said, for its most prominent layer 2 and sidechain solutions. It is an all-in-one wallet, as we like to say, because users can manage their funds on different different chains, but they can do that with a backup of a single unique recovery phrase and through a unified and convenient dashboard. So the idea is to make the experience of using Bitcoin and all its scaling solution as effortless as possible. And it's also a super app, which is a buzzword we gladly adopted that is gaining traction in the past years, in the past months, because the idea is that from the starting point of the all-in-one wallet, there's also going to be a suite, a galaxy, a universe of products and services. So other smaller apps within the super app that users can join through their national ID or decentralized ID. As I said in the introduction, we plan to include both decentralized and centralized application, and they're all going to be optional. The wallet is going to be decentralized. It's going to be a self-custodial wallet. And after that, the users can decide autonomously what kind of degree of exposure they want to have to centralized services. So as I said earlier, we might have diehard, maximalist, privacy-oriented users that simply want to use the decentralized wallet. And then all the shades to more generic users that are interested in trading or decentralized finance, and also users that simply want to have a reliable wallet and exchange some fiat for Bitcoin and then store them. And there's also going to be some centralized applications for them, where of course they're going to have to expose some kind of personal information, for example, if they want to access a fiat gateway application, because we are EU based, we are based in Italy at the moment, and we don't plan to go away for the moment. So we're probably going to be EU regulated for the foreseeable future. And so we are 100% compliant. So for some kind of applications, we'll have to give away some kind of privacy, but that's going to be absolutely, absolutely optional. And again, why did we build Wallby? What is our kind of like the vision and mission of Wallby? So we've been Bitcoin and blockchain professionals for over 10 years. I mean, some of our co-founders and partners, one of our partners is Giacomo Zucco, so we have very, very long time Bitcoin experts among our partners. So we've been working in this environment for over 10 years. We've seen many trends come and go, and we are committed to Bitcoin because we see it as the safest and the most reliable solution. We built Wallby on Bitcoin because we believe in the vision and the mission of the Bitcoin developer community and the Bitcoin community in general. We believe that what the community chose for Bitcoin is the right course of action. So we saw that Bitcoin played the long game, as I like to say. Ethereum and the other altcoins tried to attract as many users, as many customers as possible, but they got to a point where they had to compromise layer one security. And where we draw the line is when Ethereum switched to proof of stake. And that even though it had also Ethereum had its layer 2 and sidechain solutions, the point that they switched to proof of stake for us is the point of no return. So that's when they compromised layer 1. Instead, Bitcoin and Bitcoiners have strived to keep layer 1 as immaculate, as stable, as safe as possible. So with no compromises so far, and instead delegating 100% of the scaling to layer 2 and sidechain solutions. What is the drawback of this kind of approach, though? This kind of drawback is that by having a monolithic layer 1, which is not as interoperable with layer 2s as Ethereum is, that it can be hard for users to get their head around the whole ecosystem. So it's very hard to move funds from Bitcoin layer 1 to a sidechain or to a layer 2. It's difficult to build DeFi application on Bitcoin and on some layers too. It's difficult to have a unified ecosystem, for example, for tokens and NFT. And the idea with Wallby is to give users the key to unlock this new world of possibility on top of Bitcoin. So the idea is to make Bitcoin as accessible as possible. As we saw before, the idea is to give users a single wallet with a single backup, a single convenient dashboard when they can switch from one network to the other and manage their funds on different networks. And again, who created Wallby? I'm going to elaborate a little bit more. So Wallby was kickstarted by Bicademy, which, as we saw, is one of the leading firms in the biggest block Bitcoin business ecosystem in Italy. We are a group of industry veterans. We're serial entrepreneurs. As we saw before, Bicademy is just one of the latest of the many companies we co-funded. And among our experiences and the work we've done with the other companies, we've been working on Bitcoin, Lightning Network, RGB for a very long time. Within Bitcoin, in the Bitcoin Valley, it probably was the first. We were working on colored coins on Bitcoin very early. And since Giacomo Zucco was one of our partners, we were one of the first to whom he pitched RGB on Lightning Network. So we started working on RGB on Lightning Network back in 2017, 2018. And also we've been working on merchant applications. As I said, we have a lot of merchants accepting Bitcoin in person in the Bitcoin Valley through a merchant we created, and also hardware applications. And this is what we did with the first companies within Bitcoin in the Bitcoin Valley. Bicademy instead spun off from in Bitcoin with a more educational focus, as the name suggests. So we started with Bicademy with education first, and then of course after education always comes consultancy, because people you give education to, then they start asking how they can integrate those solutions into their business, into their work life. And after consultancy, software development comes, because of course, once you show people the value and the way to integrate Bitcoin-based solutions into their business model, then they trust you, and they also ask you to help them with development. So that's the life journey of Bicademy. As we saw, Bicademy kickstarted Wallby, but now we are in the process from a business point of view. We are in the process of raising funds to make Wallby independent and spin it off. So hopefully, ideally, very soon, Wallby is going to be its own company and its own entity. Um, and yeah, also the this year-long experience also helped us to create a network of partners and of knowledges that all converged in Wallby, because Bicademy is also a function. It's a member on the of the Liquid Federation, and theoretically a functionary, not yet, but we're going to be online soon, and we are in close contact with all the companies that are curating the technology we adopted in Wallby. So Blockstream for Liquid, IOV Labs for Rootstock, and for example, RGB, the group working on RGB for Lightning Network and tokenization on that. So that's a little bit of background of who created Wallby, which is going to be necessary to go back to why Wallby part 2, because we saw before why Wallby from a more like, as I said, vision and mission point of view. Now I'm going to answer the question why Wallby from a purely business oriented point of view. So the way we answered before was more as Bitcoiners, as idealists. This is why we started talking about making Wallby within Bicademy from a business point of view. And hopefully this is going to be interesting and useful for other people working on Bitcoin applications and Bitcoin solutions, because from my experience, Bitcoiners tend to be very idealistic, and sometimes they lack business vision. So hopefully this kind of process is going to be helpful to other people, because we took our time to realize this kind of journey. And as Bicademy, we were doing education, then consultancy, then custom software development, as we saw. And what most of our customers usually ask is notarization services, tokenization services, and custom software developments. Custom software development usually for platforms that can help them manage their tokens, or let other clients or customer access their notarization services we provide them. And we've always been able to provide them these services, but every time we always felt like something was missing, like a little piece was missing, because when we got to the point where they were like, okay, so we have our own token on Liquid, but then also our users would like to do DeFi. So how can they do that? Or our customers have Bitcoin, but they're Bitcoin on layer 1, and now they want to buy our token on Liquid, but they don't have funds on Liquid. So how can they do that? Our users want to store both their Bitcoin and their Liquid tokens in one place, and they cannot do that. So how can we do that? And that's why we always felt the need of this little piece to glue it all together. And that's why we started theorizing, we started thinking about Wallby, which then became what it is right now. And what it is Wallby right now. So we've been thinking, we've been brainstorming, we've been working, we've been designing Wallby for a long time. So I remember one of the first time we talked about it, it was probably 2 years ago or even more. And it has been in actual development as it is right now for something like 8 months. But of course, it's not something we started from one day to the other. So there's been many months preceding that of not only designing and thinking about it, but also of making independent components that were going to converge into Wallby. We launched the open beta on Android a little longer than a month ago. It was in July 2023. And at the moment, Wallby is closed source. It's a decentralized wallet, as we saw. It's a decentralized wallet which supports Bitcoin on chain. It has full support for Liquid Network. both liquid Bitcoin, both all kind of tokens, and also including NFTs with full visualization of the metadata, which, as far as we know, it's probably one of the industry first, we think. But it's always hard to make this kind of statements. But as far as you know, it's one of the first um, mobile applications that let users manage NFTs with full metadata visualization. And then the wallet also supports rootstock. So I don't know how many of you know rootstock. Rootstock is another sidechain of Bitcoin. Just like Liquid Network it has a RBTC instead of LBTC as native currency. So there's a one-to-one peg in and peg out from Bitcoin to rootstock and vice versa. And it has merged mining with Bitcoin, so it is secured by part of the hashing power of Bitcoin. And the idea behind Rootstock, which is developed by IOV Labs, is that it's a Bitcoin compatible Ethereum virtual machine, so it supports all kind of smart contract developed for Ethereum. And as I said, yeah, we support Rootstock in the wallet, and then we support a selection of tokens on Rootstock, which are the one integrated in Sovereign, which is the DeFi suite of Rootstock. And we also integrate the decentralized exchange and liquidity pools from Sovereign. So users can conveniently access decentralized finance application within Wallby. And what will Wallby be? So what is our vision for Wallby for the 1.0 version and beyond? So we still have a long way to go to complete Wallby, because as we saw earlier, at the moment Wallby is incubated within the academy, and so we also have to juggle Wallby development with also our existing customers and new clients coming in. So ideally, we will be able to spin off Wallby as soon as possible, and there's going to be a dedicated team to the development of Wallby, which is not the case at the moment. So it's a development that is carried out by the Big Academy developers, and we would like to be able to release to have a full release 1.0 of Wallby, ideally in 6 months, but more realistically in 8 to 12 months. So there's still a long way to go. What are the features we would like to integrate in the future? Because as we saw at the moment, Wallby is simply a wallet. So the very first three urgent integration we would like to do as soon as possible in the short term, and by short term I mean ideally 3 to 6 months, is an integrated peg in and peg out mechanism from Bitcoin to Liquid and vice versa, and from Bitcoin to Rootstock and vice versa. Because at the moment it's still kind of hard for users to get hold of Liquid Bitcoin and Rootstock Bitcoin, whereas it's very easy for them to get access to regular Bitcoin. So if we manage to integrate a peg in and peg out mechanism, we solve a big problem we have with Wallby. So the fact that users really like the opportunities of Liquid Network and Rootstock, but they still feel kind of hard to move liquidity and funds to those networks. Another thing we want to release very soon is the iOS and desktop version. The desktop version is still in development. The iOS version has been ready for as long as the Android version has been. Probably I didn't mention this before, but at the moment, unfortunately, Wallby is available only on Android because of Apple's obscure policy. So we're trying to wrap our head around a way to get the application approved. So we are in a limbo. That's probably the most asked question we get when iOS, and the answer, unfortunately, is as soon as Apple says yes, because the application is pretty much ready on our side. And then absolutely utmost importance for a full 1.0 release is to have open source release. at least of the wallet component. As we saw before, at the moment, Wallby is unfortunately closed source, and because we're still finalizing the core component, if I can say so, and once the core components are going to be done, we're also looking to roll out the open source, the code as open source, at least for the wallet component, because we know that it's something that is very important for the Bitcoin community and for us, absolutely for us too, because we are also part and we share the values and the history of the Bitcoin community. Talking about medium term, so here we are looking at a time frame of probably 6 to 12 months. We would like to complete the holy trinity of Bitcoin sidechains and layers 2, so integrating Lightning Network other than Liquid and Rootstock. And the Lightning Network integration is going to come with the wallet component that's going to let users manage their funds also on Lightning Network. RGB support, so support for that tokenization standard on Lightning Network, so users are also going to be able to manage their Lightning Network tokens. And with a Bolt integration, which is going to work alongside the Peg-in or Peg-out, which is going to make it possible for users to seamlessly and in a decentralized way move funds from Liquid to Bitcoin to Lightning Network to Rootstock and so on. And that's going to be a very interesting integration. And also for the medium term, we would like to activate the first one of those smaller applications that we saw before are going to be component of the super application, which is the fiat gateway. So also a way for users to be able to manage everything through Wallby and Wallby alone, and also not needing to go through other exchanges. So users can just download Wallby and move their Bitcoins there. If they don't have Bitcoins, they're just going to be able to buy Bitcoin through our fiat gateway. And as I said, we already have a company from the group which is fully EU regulated for this kind of service. So we're trying to to put all the pieces together, but we're getting there. We'll be there soon enough. And then talking about long term is beyond the 12 months mark. So of course it's going to be much more vague. But what we would like to do in the long term is to complete. I mean, it's probably never going to be completed, but to integrate as much as possible all the Bitcoin-based product and services that we have or that other partners and providers have, to give that true sense of a super application. So for example, we would like to integrate our own product to notarize information on the Bitcoin blockchain. We would like to integrate our service for example, financial analysis and tax reporting. We would like to integrate our service for to tokenize on Liquid. We would like to integrate an NFT marketplace and stuff like that. And also what we would like to create is to bring actual DeFi on Bitcoin and not just on Rootstock. And so very long term, we would like to work on our own proprietary cross-chain decentralized finance protocol. So because there are opportunities for decentralized finance already on Bitcoin. There are already opportunities on Liquid Network. There are already opportunities on Rootstock. There will be opportunities on Lightning Network. And in the same way as we value first the interoperability of funds, security, and recovery phrase, we would also like to be able to create a seamless decentralized finance experience, which is likely going to start from Rootstock because it's where it's most developed and where we have most expertise for now in terms of DeFi. But ideally, we would like that to be truly cross-chain as well. So that's a little bit of a glimpse of the far future of Wallby. Today we are hosted on build on layer 2. So of course we want to give you a little bit of a more specific focus on Liquid Network. So Liquid Network is integrated into Wallby with a fully functional decentralized mobile wallet. Of course, it's not open source, so you're gonna have to take my word for now. But it's gonna be open source soon enough, as we said. The convenience of this wallet is that, as I've said multiple times already, each shares a unique recovery phrase and dashboard with the other two included wallets, so the Rootstock wallet and the Bitcoin wallet. The Liquid wallet, of course, has full support for liquid Bitcoin, so users can receive and send liquid Bitcoin. It has full support for all liquid tokens, so every single token available on the Liquid network can be managed through Wallby, and also full support to liquid NFTs. Of course, we're going to have to be a little bit more precise here. So full support means that every single NFT and every single token on Liquid can be received and sent through Wallby. Of course, for an optimal experience with the correct decimals and the correct metadata in terms of token icon and NFT metadata, the tokens need to be created by a whitelisted domain, or using Befungible, which we're gonna see later, is our own proprietary platform for creating token on Liquid. This is very important to us. As I said, we are committed. We are members of the Liquid Federation, and we really, really, really like Liquid as a tokenization solution. And one of the steps we're going to have soon, we actually discussed this with other members from the Liquid Federation in one of the in the very last meeting we had. What we want to do is to push for a shared tokenization standard on Liquid, so that people can reliably create and manage tokens on different Liquid applications, including Wallby, but not only Wallby. And they're going to be sure that whatever application they use, their token is going to be correctly accessible, visualized with all the metadata. So at the moment, we are resorting to a whitelist, but in the future, we would like to push for a shared standard. So that's our contribute we would like to give to the Liquid network. And I've talked about Befungible, which, talking about tokenization, is our own solution for tokenization on Liquid, and we created out of a necessity, because we first approached Liquid. We first started proposing Liquid to our customers as a solution from a consultancy point of view, and then we also saw that there were many tools, but not quite the tools we needed. So we also started developing, and one of the very first things we developed, since one of the very first thing that our customers ask us is to be able to create their own tokens, is our tokenization service on Liquid. And through Befungible, our tokenization platform, users are able to create each kind of token, including NFTs. And again, it's been developed by Bicademy, and it's the solution we ourselves use for Wallby, both to create tokens and also to distribute tokens. If you signed up to our newsletter, you already, if you were among the first ones, you already received an airdrop from us. We airdropped some NFTs on Liquid. If you haven't, go to wallby.app and sign up for the newsletter. We're going to have more airdrops soon, and there's still newsletter exclusive NFTs that will be dropped once we reach certain milestones. But that's what we used. We used Befungible to create the tokens first, and also to airdrop them to the addresses that signed up to the newsletter on the wallby.app website. The idea is that through Befungible, since most of the clients come from a Ethereum experience and they find it very hard to go through smart contracts, taking advantage of Liquid, there's no need to interact with smart contracts. And also, since we have our notarization solution, Binotary, users can also notarize the creation on their token on the Bitcoin blockchain, so that there's what we call a double confirmation, which is especially relevant for NFTs. And and Befungible is available for everyone. It's not open to everyone. It's available on request, and technical users will be able to access the API keys to mint their tokens with a monthly fee or any kind of arrangement we can find. Or we also have an all-inclusive package for non-technical users, so we can also take care of the minting for them. And that's what we've been doing for countless customers so far. So minting and distribution of the tokens. We're almost done. I've been going for a long time. I'm sorry. I thought it was going to be much shorter. I'm going to show you a few screenshots from the applications. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a way at the last moment to show you the application live, so I just took some screenshot. And on the left, you can see the dashboard. You can see that in the same place, users can see their balance in all the currencies: Bitcoin, liquid Bitcoin, rootstock Bitcoins, and then tokens. Then in the middle section, you can see a little bit of how the receiving flow is. So in this case, is to receive Bitcoins, liquid Bitcoins, or an asset on Liquid. And on the right hand, on the right hand side, you can see the NFT tab. So those are the Wallby NFTs are the one we distributed for the newsletter. They're still available, so there's still time to sign up. And then you can see a picture from the wedding of our president, Guido. So the celebratory NFT we minted for that. And as we said, there's a full support for the metadata. You can see both the information and the metadata on the NFT. And of course, you can click on the single NFT for an expanded look to it. This instead is the decentralized finance flow. So a little bit of user experience on that side. On the left-hand side, you can see the swap feature. So that's connected directly to Sovereign, which is the decentralized exchange of rootstock, and users can easily exchange in a decentralized way all tokens that are supported on Sovereign, especially Bitcoin and Tether, so we can give users access also to stable coins. And then in the middle and on the right hand side, you can see the liquidity pool flow. So users can browse the different liquidity pools connected to the decentralized exchange pairs. Then they can choose the one that they prefer, and they can add liquidity to those pools, and they're gonna have interest on the liquidity they provide to the pool. So this is pretty much it. I'm gonna leave you with some information to get in touch, and come meet us. We're gonna be in Riga for Baltic Honey Badger presenting Wallby on the first weekend of September. We're also gonna be in Amsterdam in mid-October. So absolutely, we're waiting. We're looking forward to seeing you there in person. I know there's gonna be also a big delegation from the Liquid Federation and other Liquid Federation companies. So it's going to be a great opportunity to all meet up in person and celebrate. So I'm going to leave this slide here for a little while. Then I'm going to switch to this one, and where you can scan and download Wallby on Android. But you can just search for Wallby on Android, and it's going to be easily available. So yeah, thank you very much.